Hi friends, today I want to talk about a very effective and successful strategy for building backlinks. Before we go into how it works and what it is and what the pros and what the cons are, let's just have a quick look at why backlinks matter, what they are, and how they fit into the broader picture. Well, backlinks form a very important part of your domain authority as a website. They essentially tell search engines like Google that your website can be trusted because other websites are linking back to your website. It's almost in our regular world, it would be like someone else telling a potential customer of yours that you are indeed trustworthy. That's what a backlink effectively is. It's another website showing to your website, which is a signal for Google. It's especially an important or a very important signal if the website that is linking back to you is also a very trustworthy and frequented website by other users. What that means is that it has a high domain authority and a high amount of traffic on a monthly basis too. That's the type of backlinks that you want because it drives up your domain authority, and your domain authority is a key input into how highly and how prominently your content is being featured on search engines. And that's obviously very, very important and a major business driver because it's for free, or it's free traffic potentially, where if you wanted to get that traffic in a paid for manner, you would be paying anywhere from $5 to potentially $500 per click, depending on how competitive the keyword is or the keywords are that you're targeting. It can get really crazy out there in terms of Google search ads and other types of search ads. And effectively, the organic traffic that you're potentially getting can be very, very valuable for you as a business. There are entire businesses based purely on organic traffic from Google, of course. And the challenge with building backlinks is building backlinks. It's not easy to do that. And most alternatives that exist are pretty terrible, except for the one that we want to discuss and is not related directly to the platform that we're on right now, although I think that's the best example. The one that I think works best is sort of a Q&A based format where content writers and reporters reach out to networks of experts to get their input. But there are many other alternatives. Specifically, I think there are 7 or 8 that I'll quickly touch upon so that we have the full context before we go into what we're looking at here specifically. So the first one is that you could be swapping links with your buddies that also have websites. Fun, do that, but usually the websites that your buddies have are also not going to be trustworthy enough, are not going to be having a high domain authority, and so it's not going to help you so much. The second one is that you could be guest blogging. So you reach out to other blogs and you suggest, hey, I have interesting ideas. Let me write a blog post for you. You publish it on your website and add a link back to my website for it. What the benefit is for you is more content for free. You don't have to invest the time into writing something that's cool. Well, that's great, but usually bloggers don't like that type of engagement. And if they accept it, it usually is a function of you paying them for doing so, unless you're like an Elon Musk or someone that is very interesting and would actually be like an addition to their website in some sense. The third one is buying backlinks. That's always an option. The problem with buying backlinks is that you buy backlinks from websites that have a high domain authority. But Google is not stupid, and search engines like Google, they're saying, hey, I don't just want a high domain authority because it can be faked, or it was able to fake that in the past. I also want your website to have high traffic, and that combined package is what makes me trust the website and give it a high reputation. And only these types of websites are going to drive up your domain authority as a website owner that is being linked back to. So buying backlinks usually gets you links from high domain authority websites, but they have zero traffic because the blog posts that they publish in a paid for manner are usually trash. It's AI generated gibberish based on a couple of keywords that the publishers are putting into AI generators that then come up with, again, gibberish blog posts that no one is ever going to read, so their traffic is zero. That's option number 3. The option number 4 that you have is hoping that is to publish insightful content and to hope that someone sees it and links back to it. And there definitely is somewhat of a snowball effect. Once you've been discovered, in some sense discovered, being backlinked back to, that page is going to link more prominently, which could create more backlinks, and so on and so on. But honestly, wishful thinking, especially for unknown brands, it's just not going to happen. It's like a miracle happening if it does, and don't rely on it, is the message. The option number 5 that you have is that you could be listing on directories like Crunchbase, for instance, and definitely do that. At some point, you are just going to run out of these directories and cannot scale your backlinks further. Though, again, it's for free. Many of these platforms actually do give you do follow links, so for sure do it. Option number 6 is PR. For instance, if you raised funding as a startup and it's from significant investors and it's a significant amount and there is a cool story about your business, you could reach out to reporters at TechCrunch and suggest that they publish an article or a blog post on your story. And if they're generous, they may include a link back to your website. And if they're really generous, it may be a so-called do follow link rather than a no follow link. So the problem with PR is that, one, you need to have these relationships and most people do not have them. So you may need to, may need to partner with a PR agency, which is going to be expensive. And the ROI, the return on investment, is just unknown because you cannot know who is going to ultimately publish your content. The last one, the last option here, I think are we at 8 or 7? I've kind of lost overview. The last option is to buy a domain. And there are established websites that do that, like GoDaddy has an auction website where they auction off domains that have been abandoned by their owners thus far. But that really only makes sense if you are either in love with the domain name and think it's valuable by itself, or if it already has an existing domain authority with high number of traffic or a high amount of traffic. And these domains are going to be very expensive to buy. We could be talking anywhere between 50K to 100K and more in USD. And who really has that in order to buy a domain? So these are your options and they all come with downsides. The best option, again, that I've personally found in my couple of years of doing this is this sort of question and answer based format here. And Turkle is the best representative of the breed. And let me jump right into Google Chrome here to show you through the dashboard or walk you through the dashboard and what my results have been so far. So essentially what happens here is that some reporter will ask a question through the platform. I can actually go through the publisher account probably. And then how should I think about ABC? And then I say it has to be done by tomorrow. And I could add my domain here, www.Zendog and I would, probably have to do some other stuff. And then ultimately this will be published on the expert site in the questions tab here. I currently don't have any questions in here because I've already answered all of them today and yesterday, actually. Turkle will be publishing or is publishing questions on a regular basis. And once you answer them, they land and track your answers, which is where we kind of started. And one example is which technological innovation will change the world the most by 2040. This is for Tech Bouillon, or my pronunciation is going to break here a little bit. Apologies if I'm butchering the name. And on the questions page, you would also be seeing information like whether it's going to be a do follow, a no follow, or an unlinked article, and what the domain authority of that website is. And this specific website is actually a pretty good website with a high domain authority and high traffic. So it's great if you get into it. And in the middle, you're seeing my response to this question, and I've done this 195 times. If we toggle through these tabs here, you see that I've currently in review 54, so these are recently submitted answers. For instance, the one that we were just looking at, I submitted today. Well, actually now it's already one day later. It's past midnight as I'm recording this video. And in the selected category, I have 34 right now. In the published category, I have 28. And in the not selected, I have 77. What the 77 leads to is a total success rate for me right now of 46%. And let me just be very, very clear. This is an incredible success rate. If you were to try this kind of Q&A based thing outside of Turkle, if you're an expert, you may get to 15%. But if you are the average Joe, and I would probably think of myself as the average Joe. I'm doing this now for 2 months, and I'm doing it all on my own. I would probably be closer to 5% or something like this. So Turkle is actually generating like a ton of value here, and it doesn't cost a lot. Like the value they create is in no correlation with what they actually charge for this service. So, and by the way, I have no affiliation with Turkle. I think it's just too valuable not to talk about it and not to share. Alrighty, so incredibly good success rate, and what this means is in 2 months I've built more than 50 backlinks. I have the potential at let's assume it's a 50% success rate to actually get another 25, 27 backlinks here, which is incredible. It would have taken me months, if not years, and thousands of dollars to do this on my own if I wouldn't have this platform. And what's even cooler is that, you know, the success rate for me has been as high as 60% in the beginning. Over time, and that's, I think, the primary downside of Turkle, is that at some point you will exhaust their pool of available publishers and you know, content strategists and websites that are asking stuff on their platform. Although they're publishing and winning new clients on the publishing side pretty much every day, you know, there is a natural limit to what they're doing. And so at some point you start responding to questions from similar domains, which will reduce your success rate, because I'm assuming that Turkle does some kind of balancing of its customer side on the of its customers on the expert side, which is what we're looking at right now, in order to make sure that everyone gets a fair number of backlinks as they participate in a meaningful way on this platform. And what it also leads to, in addition to following success rate, is obviously that, is that getting backlinks from the same domain, multiple backlinks from the same domain, is not as valuable as getting two backlinks from two separate domains. So that's always going to be more valuable. So at some point, it's entirely possible that I'm going to get to a place where Turkle doesn't have any additional domains for me, and I may cancel my subscription at that point. But so far, they have been publishing about 30 to 40 new new questions for me on a weekly basis, of which probably half have been new domains, which has been good enough to keep me. Now, in terms of what else has been going into the success rate to make it possible, is probably also my profile. Proper picture in here, that's going to be important. Ideally, you add like a sensible title here so that it doesn't seem nonsensical. You don't want to be writing as a low-level, as for instance an SEO backlinker, that if you add that at your title, I'm assuming that your success rate is just going to crash. So do show that you are someone with authority, know what you're talking about, and that's what my title here indicates. And so that has been an ingredient too. Last thing I wanted to show is the plans. You can get started on the free plan. It only lets you answer 3 questions per month. So at some point, the way I did, I first started on free, and then I submitted 3 answers. And I saw that, hey, holy moly, I already got 2 backlinks. That's incredible. I immediately signed up for the premium plan and have since been, hammering out questions as much as I can. And it's just like, again, the value is so much higher than what they're charging that it's a no-brainer, at least for me. And I'm a pretty price-sensitive customer. Now, last point I want to cover on Turkle is how I scale my own results. And I'm going to switch to a different window, and this is here my Microsoft Word document. Essentially what you're seeing here is that I have a template prompt for ChatGPT, where I add the question that I'm answering, including my own notes on responses, and just let ChatGPT turn it into a coherent and consistent post and optimize some of the language that I'm using. I will then refine that answer and I will put it into Turkle, and it's been working well at scale for me. I'm able to publish or answer about 30 questions per 3 hours. Well, actually 10 questions per hour. So my goal on a weekly basis is to answer about 30 questions. And so I can get that done in between 3 to 4 hours, which is all I need at this point. Okay, fantastic. So we talked about why backlinks matter, why the alternatives aren't great, what the Q&A based format is, how Turkle works, how I scale my efforts, what my results are, and some of the downsides. Let's look at a couple of alternatives that are out there. Well, actually, before we do that, let's look at a quick example of what a blog post looks like that gets published. And here is an example in Disrupt, for instance, Disrupt magazine. What you will get published on and featured on is like a blog post where you'll be featured alongside a bunch of other experts, which obviously makes sense for Turkle because they want to get more of its customers into a blog post that they have been able to secure. And it adds more content to the blog post, in this case of Disrupt magazine, which is better for Disrupt magazine because the content is longer, there are more keywords that are covered, and you just get more perspectives, which is also just interesting to read. And if we go into inspect here and check what kind of link I've been getting here, you see that this is actually a follow link. It's not a do follow, and Disrupt magazine is a decent website with lots of traffic, a high domain authority. Extremely valuable for me. I'm very, very grateful for Turkle to have made this happen across this example, but all other examples too. Now, what are some alternatives to Turkle? The one that stood out most to me, because I am selling to B2B, I don't really care about B2C types of backlinks, is Help a B2B Writer. What they do is they will send you every day, they will send you at the same time a bunch of emails where reporters, content writers, and others are publishing questions or more unstructured prompts in terms of what they're trying to write about and which kind of help they need. Some of those are going to be linked, some of those are not going to be linked, and you have to kind of pitch in there via email, which is less structured because you don't have a dashboard, it doesn't track your results, and I think what's most important is it doesn't cost money. So the barriers to entry are very low and you're competing with a high number of people, which is one more reason why I think that the Turkle success rate is so high. You're paying extra money for it, and that filters out a lot of noise from people that don't understand how valuable this actually is. So Help a B2B Writer is an alternative. I have been featured through this too. The success rate is somewhat lower, and also the opportunities I found, because they're only sending you about 5 to 6 emails with the verticals that I've selected, which are B2B focused, and especially go-to-market, marketing, and strategy and stuff like that. You're not going to get that many questions, so it doesn't scale as well. The next alternative is HARO, Help a Reporter. This is probably the godfather of this entire space. It's a Sysian product and has obviously major outlets publishing here. It would be great if you get featured on one of those, especially if it's a do follow backlink. The problem with this this opportunity, this product, this offering is that it is super competitive. Every backlink builder knows this, and you are competing with people that don't do anything else than just sending in submissions for responses in order to get the distant chance to be featured on any of these outlets. And you are definitely not going to get a 50% success rate. I think that 15% is probably the top of the top that you're going to get here. And in terms of me as a business leader, I have to make a decision where I see the highest ROI on my time, and I see it with Turkle. I don't see it with HARO, so I've not been using it as actively. And then there are 3 more. I'll just fly through those quickly. Quoted, PressPlugs, and SourceBottle. I'm sure there are others too. I've not found, could be doing a disservice to these. I haven't looked into them a ton just because Turkle has been keeping me busy, and next I would do the Help a B2B Writer if I have some time left. When I did the superficial review of these, I've just not found them as valuable and as helpful for the specific thing I'm trying to do. But if you spend a little bit more time, maybe they turn out to be miracles too. And then if that's actually true, then definitely let me know the way I let you know about Turkle. All right, that's it for today. I do hope you found this useful. Let me switch back to my shared screen in a way that I can actually see it. Well, this is a little bit too commercial as an exit window. So let's just look at this website. Thank you for your time. If you have questions, the comment section is for that. I will get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you want more of this type of content, head over to my channel and hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me as a content creator. Okay, that's a lot to ask for you, from you, but I hope you found this video helpful. It's definitely a secret that I'm sharing here with you. Probably other people know it too, but it's just such a magical tool. I'm so grateful. Have a great day. Bye-bye.